For a lot of tea lovers out there, black tea, or Hong Cha, was the gateway tea to an obsession or addiction to proper tea. And that was definitely the case for me, and so in this video, I wanted to take things back and explore tea from the region that first produced black tea. Tongmu Village in Wuyishan, in northern Fujian. The Tongmu Village is located within Wuyishan. This is the same Wuyishan where proper rock oolongs come from. So teas such as Da Hong Pao, Riu Gui, and Fujian, which we featured in a previous video, all of these it's from the same general area. But the village that we're talking about today, Tongmu Village, which is about 3 hours away from the main kind of Wuyishan region, that is where black tea first originated from. Now, I've told this story before in a previous video on the origins of Lapsang Souchong and black tea. So the soldiers came, made camp for a few nights. The entire crop of tea leaves was completely ruined. Dried the leaves over pine wood smoke, and thus the first black tea ever, Lapsang Souchong, was born. So in this video, I'll be sipping through 3 types of unsmoked Lapsang Souchong or Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black teas. So unsmoked Lapsang Souchong is actually a relatively new development when it comes to the world of black teas, having only been first released in the mid-2000s after the development of the highly prized Jin Jun Mei black tea. So in 2005, a group of tea enthusiasts from Beijing visited Tongmu Village to kind of explore teas from the region. So they met with a local producer and kind of questioned why that teas from other famous regions, for example, Longjing from Xihu in Zhejiang, or Tiguanyin from Anxi, or even closer, the Da Hong Pao from Wuyishan. Why was it that all these kind of really prestigious tea regions, why was it that they could have all these sort of super high grade, super ultra premium teas, but Tongmu didn't have anything like that? Such a product didn't exist for black teas. The leaf quality was definitely there, and the region was pristine and isolated enough that it could create these really nice, lovely teas. Why couldn't there be a highly expensive, ultra premium, black tea from Tongmu? And so a challenge was issued to this producer, and the result was Jin Jun Mei black tea, a high-grade, unsmoked black tea made entirely from the freshest tea buds. And so the technique and production methods used to make Jin Jun Mei black tea were then applied to leaves, picked from other parts of the tea plant, and unsmoked Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong, or unsmoked Lapsang Souchong tea, was born. So for the 3 teas featured in today's video, they are all unsmoked Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black teas made by the same tea producer, but featuring leaves picked from different parts of the tea plant. So the first tea, which is the tea that I've been drinking so far in this video, and one that we've dubbed Big Red, it's made mostly from the 2nd to 4th leaves of the tea plant. The second tea, which we've dubbed Little Red, is 1 bud and 2 leaves. So this refers to the picking standard, and that for every bud that's picked, the top 2 leaves accompany it. And the third tea is the highly prized bud-only Jin Jun Mei black tea. Okay, so starting off with Big Red. This is a rich, aromatic, it's quite aromatic, but also a very thick, rich, kind of sweet kind of black tea that would make an excellent everyday drinker and the perfect introduction to Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black teas. Like if you want to kind of get someone started on the whole unsmoked, Lapsang Souchong, unsmoked Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black teas, and you kind of want to give them an idea of what these kind of teas taste like, this is a good one to start with. It has a nice smooth texture, a nice thick mouthfeel, and also a very nice kind of sweet and malty flavor as well. Like the predominant flavor note for this is that malt, followed by that sort of light kind of floral hint, which it's a good example of a Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black tea. Now, Moving on to tea number 2, Little Red. So the first thing that I'm noticing as I'm brewing this tea up is the aroma. It's definitely more aromatic than Big Red, and it's also like a lighter, like those sort of lighter, more higher kind of aroma notes. Those are coming through a lot more. Like it feels like, just from the aroma alone, it feels like a lighter, more delicate style of tea. And yep, that's definitely a lighter style of Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black tea. Like with the Big Red, that rich, sort of sweet, malty flavor, that was definitely at the forefront. Whereas with this one here, that takes a bit of a step back, and the sort of lighter, almost kind of more floral notes, that comes to the front a little bit more. Like sort of these kind of hints of, what's that flower? It's the hints of chrysanthemum, notes of chrysanthemum mixed in with some light cacao, and like it doesn't have that sort of strong malty, like thick malty sweetness that Big Red had, but it's still a black tea that has like great longevity to it. Like it's, aftertaste is still there, it still lingers on. It's just those, I think what it gains in like those higher, you know, sort of light floral, you know, more aromatic notes, it sort of loses in sweetness. So if you think about the flavors of black tea as being on a bit of a scale, where you have on one end, you have that sort of sweet, malty, you know, that sweet malty kind of flavor, Big Red, and on the other end is something that is light and citrusy, which is how some black teas can taste. I'd say Little Red sits somewhere kind of in the middle. Now, as for tea number 3, that very much sits on the opposite end of the spectrum, and we have our Jin Jun Mei black tea. Now here we have a tea that you could consider to be the pinnacle of Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong Hongzha Jin Jun Mei. And immediately, the first thing that hits you is the aroma of this tea. I mean, like, if only there was like smell-o-vision here and you guys can like smell this tea. Like, it is absolutely intoxicating. That is the only way that I can describe it. It is like so fragrant. It is so, it's not just citrusy and floral, it's like, I kind of get this like this sort of hint of like lemon myrtle, you know, it's a very aromatic, fragrant, citrusy, you know, kind of aroma, but also deep as well. Like also that kind of signature maltiness that I've been talking about in the last 2 teas as well. You know, in Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong, like that is there as well. And so that combined with that lemon myrtle like characteristic, that citrus note, like not one particular aroma note is sort of taking over. It's all like in perfect balance to create this absolutely amazing and intoxicating aroma. And I haven't even tried the tea yet, so let's give it a shot. Okay, look, some of you keen-eyed tea nerds out there will be like, oh, look, he's drinking the rinse. Like, what the heck's the matter with you? Yes, I am drinking the rinse of this tea because it is a proper Jin Jun Mei black tea. It is an expensive black tea, and so I am going to enjoy every single ounce of it, including the rinse. And even though this is just the rinse, I mean, those flavors are all there. Like that, what I was smelling before, that sort of lemon myrtle, citrusy kind of flavor mixed in with the malt and sort of light chocolatey notes, like all in perfect balance. That's what I'm tasting in the tea right here. Like it is, like it's definitely on the lighter side, you know, of black teas. But you know, once again, when I say light, I don't mean it's like devoid of any flavor. Like it is light on the palate, but very deep in terms of like what you taste in terms of its aftertaste and the sensations that the tea sort of gives you as you're drinking the tea. Just even with the rinse, like the flavor already like lingers on for a while. Like it's kind of sticking to the tongue, sticking to the throat. It's all there, and it's kind of like those aromas, I can still feel it. I can still sort of experience it on my palate, in my mouth. And like, this is the kind of tea that you really need to try it in order to like fully appreciate like my words, how I'm trying to convey it to you. You know, through this video, I don't think it's going to do it any justice at all. Like, watching me drink and try to describe what I'm tasting, what I'm feeling here, it's not going to do the tea justice. Like, you're not going to be able to really understand what I'm sort of experiencing here unless you're here drinking it with me. This tea like really is something else. I can spend all day here just sniffing this tea. It's just... Yep, so first proper infusion of the tea. Still very light, still very citrusy. But then that light chocolatey malty note is also there as well, but very much in the background. To be honest, the initial flavor itself it's not like a big wallop or like a smack in your mouth kind of flavor with this. Like, it is very much, in terms of its initial flavor, it is very light, very, very delicate, very complex. I mean, there is a lot going on in here right now. Like, it's like, if you're looking for big, bold, strong flavors, this isn't the tea for you. Like, it's not something that's going to sort of really just like hit you like a freight train. Like, it's not that kind of tea. Like, it's, if you're not paying attention, you might be thinking, you know, what's all the fuss, like what all the fuss is about. But as you sip on this, like, there is definitely a really, like, even though it's light on initial flavor, there is definitely a depth to it, and a very long, lingering aftertaste. Not a strong aftertaste, but a lingering aftertaste, and that combined with the aroma of the leaves makes this a truly magnificent tea. Unlike any other sort of great tea, Jin Jun Mei isn't without its controversies. So, having developed this amazing and magnificent tea, our producer friend basically tried to trademark the name Jin Jun Mei, which led to an extended and prolonged 6-year legal battle that he ultimately lost, as the courts pretty much decided that the term Jin Jun Mei should be something that's shared with the wider tea industry, as opposed to being owned by any one particular company or particular producer. And so enter a flood of knockoff Jin Jun Mei teas made from different varietals, from different regions, that bear very little resemblance to the actual and true Jin Jun Mei black tea from Tongmu. And on top of that, one of the lead tea makers that used to work for our producer friend here, Liang Junde, has since split off and started his own company that specializes in Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong and Jin Jun Mei black teas. Now, while he can't claim to be like the first producer of Jin Jun Mei, he does claim to be an original producer of Jin Jun Mei black tea. At least, I mean, his company claims to be an original producer of Jin Jun Mei black tea. And so the two companies now are kind of in competition with each other, and both laying claim to having the most authentic version of Jin Jun Mei black tea. And so that's just a little behind the scenes tea politics for you today. And in case you were wondering, no, we didn't source this Jin Jun Mei from either of these two producers, but This one here, it does come from Tongmu Village, and it was made by a producer that is also from Tongmu Village as well. And it certainly looks and tastes the part. Because you see, true Jin Jun Mei shouldn't be all golden and orange and twisty like you see with so many like so-called Jin Jun Mei teas available online. Like the leaves should actually be, in general terms, like quite dark and also very thin, very delicate, and they should look more like this as opposed to this. And in terms of its overall flavor profile, like it shouldn't be, like I wouldn't say it's like overly chocolatey or malty or sweet like so many descriptions would have. Like that sounds to me more like a typical Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong black tea as opposed to a proper Jin Jun Mei. Like for me, Jin Jun Mei, like the first sort of flavor notes of a proper Jin Jun Mei is more a citrusy, lemon myrtle, like a lighter kind of flavor, quickly followed by that, you know, sort of more chocolatey, slightly malty kind of flavor. But the predominant, I find anyway, like the key characteristic, the key flavor profile is that citrus-like characteristic. And then like the aftertaste, right, of a proper Jin Jun Mei should also linger on for a good hot minute as well. Not literally like a minute, but like a long time, you know. And I mean, a few years ago, we've had the privilege of tasting like proper Jin Jun Mei black teas from Liang Junde's company. Like when we did a tour of Wuyishan and we went to Tongmu Village like a couple of years ago, we did get a chance to try like proper Jin Jun Mei. And I have to say, like the Jin Jun Mei that I'm brewing in this video tastes very similar to that tea that I had at Liang Junde's factory. And while this is still a fairly, it's still a fairly expensive tea, it's a fraction of the cost of what the proper one from the Junde tea company, what that one costs. So here's the thing, Jin Jun Mei was designed to be a ridiculously expensive tea. Like it was created to be an example of the pinnacle of Tongmu black tea, and so by definition, it should be expensive. And so if you happen to see something or come across something that claims to be Jin Jun Mei, but you see it for like, it's kind of like an average or pretty cheap kind of price, most likely it's not the genuine article. Now I know some of you out there might be thinking, ugh, so what if it's not the real thing? As long as it's a nice and delicious tasty tea, like what does it matter? Sure, okay, let's just say one of these fake knockoff Jin Jun Mei teas happens to be like a great tasting black tea. All right, let's just even say, for argument's sake, it happens to be my favorite black tea of all time. I still wouldn't want this tea, even though it's my favorite and I drink it on a daily basis, I still wouldn't want this one to be called a Jin Jun Mei black tea if that's not what it is. Like, give it a different name, okay? If it's still from the Wuyishan region or something, like call it Zheng Shan Xiao Zhong at least, or just don't call it Jin Jun Mei when that's not what it is. Like true Jin Jun Mei black tea, like not only does it have a very unique flavor profile, it also represents an idea, and it encapsulates the best qualities and characteristics of the Tongmu region within its leaves. It's designed to be the sort of an expression of the pinnacle of Tongmu black tea. Anyway, that's the end of our video today. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. All you tea lovers out there, have any of you tried true and proper Jin Jun Mei black tea? If you have, what did you think? Was it worth the price? Was it everything that you had hoped and expected it to be? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.